Lincoln said, "Party operations at present only favor or retard colonization incidentally." They don't favor it fully, but incidentally and incrementally. Now look at this. This is why members of the Jewish community could influence the politicians of that time for separate but equal. It's a form of colonization because the blacks are in a separate area, but that area is controlled from whites outside of their area. The definition of colonize means to send a group of settlers to a place and establish control over it, come to settle and establish political control over the indigenous people of an area, to appropriate a place or domain for one's own use. Is it an accident that everywhere you find black people in America, you find us living in an area appropriated to us by that which has the power to do so? So we have been effectively colonized without giving us anything like Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln desired for us to have. We live in an appropriated area under the control of whites through black preachers and politicians and business people that white people control. They gerrymander us as Dr. King has accused them of doing. What is gerrymandering? Gerrymandering in politics is the dividing of a state, a county, into election districts so as to give one political party a majority in many districts while concentrating the voting strength of the other into as few districts as possible. That's part of the incremental, incidental colonization of us. You redraw districts to take power from and give power to. Many colonies in Africa, the Caribbean, and in Central America were gifted their freedom, except Haiti. So when your former slave master gifts you something, you better be careful that it's not a Trojan horse. Is it something that has in it something that will overcome you and eventually keep you in a colonized state? Black people's condition in Africa, the Caribbean, and Central America is nothing more than a colony of blacks subjected to the whim or will of outside forces. So you are separate, but very, very unequal. So now your desire is to integrate into the major colonial power, not completely separate from them. Let's see how blacks have fared integrating into the countries of their former colonial master. How's it going? We have many Francophone countries, countries that have been under the rule of France, and Anglophone countries, countries that are under the rule of England. But both the Francophone and the Anglophone countries are still tied to your former colonial master. His education is what you function by. His legalities and system of law and governance and jurisprudence is what you function by. So you have a flag. You have representatives in the Commonwealth nations and in the United Nations, but you are not able to yet see that you are yet a colony. Just as in the black community in America, when it looks like we're going to get political power, they redraw lines to take power from us and give it to others who are more affable, more friendly, and a part of their desires. So it is with you in Africa. You are subjected now to Europe by means of food production. Your food is coming to you from outside. You're not producing your own food. You are subjected now because you're in debt to the IMF and the World Bank. So you're nothing more than a legitimized colony with not even the implements that will allow you to set yourself free. So as it is in the 16th chapter of Ezekiel, you're still like a baby cast out in the open field. Nobody to cut the umbilical cord. So you are not washed and cleaned, and you are absolutely not clothed or covered, but you are polluted in the blood or life directed by a colonial or slave mentality. So it's a worldwide colonization of the darker people of our planet. That is why the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is so vital, so necessary for the darker people, the aboriginal people of the world, to wake them up, to make them see that they have been neo-colonized.